Hi, I'm Adel, and this is Degrader, a Resampler and Bitcrusher plugin from Degrader. And I'm here to give you a short overview of what it does. So we'll go over the controls and functions, as well as look at an example of how you could use Degrader in your productions. But before we get to that, I just want to give a short explanation of what a Bitcrusher is for those of you who aren't familiar with the concept yet. So bit crushing and resampling in this case is basically exactly what the name implies. It's the concept of degrading the audio signal by lowering the quality of the digital resolution. This can be very useful for creating interesting types of distortions, as well as for creating emulations of old school audio gear, such as samplers, old digital recording and playback systems, etc. So it's a nice plugin to have in your toolbox if you're looking for creative ways of shaping your sound. Let's start by checking out the controls. So top left here we have a filter section with two low-pass filters, one for before and one for after the resampling happens. Both have an option of low Q, high Q, or flat, and the cutoff frequency is always fixed to half the value of the set sample rate. Moving down, we have the jitter amount knob. This correlates very much to the sample rate setting and will be more noticeable the lower you set the sample rate. Next, we of course have the sample rate control, which lets you choose a sample rate anywhere between 96 kHz and 250 Hz. Moving to the right, we have the bit depth knob. This one goes from 24 bits all the way down to 3 bits. And next to it, we have the saturation knob, which lets you add some more traditional distortion to the sound. Also above these knobs, we have a waveform display that visualizes the settings of both the bit depth and saturation knobs, like this. And between these four knobs, we have these handy little link buttons that let you link some or all of the knobs together, which can be very useful for automation effects, for instance. Moving on to the master section, we have an input gain and an output gain. Both have a span between -24 and +24 dB. And below, we have the mix knob, which lets you blend the unprocessed audio with the processed sound. Next to this, we have the power button, which is essentially a soft bypass so you can compare your tweaks with the unprocessed sound without getting any audio glitches. And last but not least, we have the preset drop-down menu. Here you can save your own favorite presets and, of course, also choose from the many built-in ones. They span from subtle effects and emulations of old gear to extreme distortion and bit-crushing mayhem, basically. All right. So those are all the controls of Degrader. Oh, and one last thing. If you want to reset any of the controls to its original position, you just double-click the knobs, like this. Now let's try it out on some music. So here we have an electronic track with two main sections and also two main synth sounds that I want to tweak using Degrader. But first, let's take a quick listen to what both sections sound like now. Okay, so the first synth I want to tweak is this one called Main Keys, and it's most prominent in this first section, so let's loop it here and take a listen to it on its own. As you can hear, the sound is already kind of dirty and gritty, but I want to try to add even more grittiness and noise, especially in higher frequencies, to help emphasize the rhythm of the sound. So let's load an instance of Degrader. First thing you'll notice is that it opens up in the default preset, which is a really nice place to start. But for this sound, I want to turn off the filters and put the jitter amount knob to 0 for now, and start tweaking from here. So I'm going to start first with the bit depth and sample rate settings. And I'm going to increase the jitter amount. And adding some saturation. And compensating saturation boost with the output gain. I'm also going to engage the post low pass filter here to soften those really high frequencies. Okay, I think I'm happy with that. Let's blend it with the unprocessed sound. This is what it sounds like in the mix. And with Degrader bypassed. Okay, let's move on to the synth in this other section here. This is what it sounds like on its own. I like this sound, but I would like it to have a little more character and a dirtier, darker vibe that pops out more in the mix. So let's load another instance of Degrader, starting from the default preset. Again, I'm disengaging the filters and resetting the jitter amount to 0. And I'll start by tweaking the bit depth and sample rate settings. But for this sound, I'm probably going to go more extreme with the values here. So let's try it. Okay, now we're getting this metallic kind of sound, which is not really what I'm looking for with this synth. So I'm going to adjust the jitter amount to try to change that. Great. I'm also going to engage the post low pass filter here, but this time I'm going to go with the high Q setting to get that resonant boost, which I think will add even more character and let the sound pop out more in the mix. So let's listen to what that sounds like. Nice. Let's add some saturation to that. Compensate a bit with the output gain. And I also want to blend in a little bit of the unprocessed sound. Okay, let's compare it to what it sounds like without Degrader. And with Degrader. And in the mix. Excellent. I'm really happy with both of these synth sounds now. So those are two fairly similar examples on how to use Degrader in your productions, but the possibilities are endless, of course. So just experiment, play around with it on whatever sound you feel like tweaking, and have fun. Okay, that's it for this overview. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you will enjoy experimenting and using Degrader in your own productions. If you want to learn more, check out Clearvan's website and the social medias. Links will be in the description somewhere around here. And I will see you next time. Bye.